Now, looking at Jeremy's story online, ConnieCurtis.com, this wish goes back a while, right? When did you first find out that Jeremy was sick?
Jeremy was diagnosed in 2000, actually the very first week in November, but he spent the summer having lower back pain when he was doing what every other 17-year-old boy would do, would be out in a basketball court or running or biking, and just felt kind of uncomfortable in the lower part of his spine and thought maybe he pulled a muscle. So he wrote it out, did his summer conditioning for his high school sports teams, and as the time went on, it progressively got worse, and went to a physical therapist, and physical therapist wanted him to have an MRI, and the MRI found a tumor on the lower part of his spine, and they weren't sure if it was a benign tumor, or it was some sort of a disease, and biopsy confirmed Ewing sarcoma.
And how old was Jeremy then?
He was 17.
17.
So went from playing basketball with his buddies to suddenly you have Ewing sarcoma. What is Ewing sarcoma?
Well, when I got the word that it was Ewing sarcoma, I had no idea what it was, and internets were not that big,
right.
And I thought, he thought it was named after one of his basketball heroes, Patrick Ewing. So then we did a little more research and found that it is a childhood cancer. It falls in the 5% of all childhood cancers, leukemia and lymphoma being, in the 90th percentile. So we did not realize at that point that not a lot of money is raised to find a cure for Ewing's. And so what he did look at was that he had, if you looked at percentages, a 65 to 70% survival rate. So he thought, wow, that's better than 50-50, so he'll be okay. And he went through the regimen of chemo for about a year and a half, 1 week in the hospital every 3 weeks, and the tumor was shrunken by the end of his cycle.
So did he go in remission?
Went into remission for 3 years. In the very beginning of his treatment, he fell in love with his...
Oh, this part gets me.
I know.
Oh, this gets me, Kari.
He actually met who turned out to be his wife a couple months before he was diagnosed, from Buenos Aires, and lived in Florida, and she started commuting through his treatments and grew closer and moved in with us and helped take care of him, and they ended up marrying the week before he passed away.
Did you know that
it was so close?
Oh,
when he got married? Did you know?
Yes.
You did know.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeremy had gone through 50-something surgeries and was in remission for 3 years, studied abroad, came back.
He was 25 at
He
this
was
point.
25 yes. There was a really great 3-year period, and when he relapsed, he was floored. He had no symptoms, looked fabulous, went in for his 3-year, thought were clear scans, and the doctor told him that they see a spot in the same area, which usually, that area is pretty well radiated and doesn't usually come back in that area. So he said he'll go through it and fight it again. Only problem was that because it came back in that area and they went to remove it, it was scar tissue and it wasn't healthy, and they paralyzed him from the waist down.
Really?
And he was in ICU for 6 or 7 months, but he fought through it.
Kari.
We call him the comeback kid.
Now, you and I were just talking off air, and this gets me too, and I hope you don't mind that I say this, but it's been almost 3 years since he passed away, and you were saying it's getting to that point now where you're afraid that you're going to forget the way he sounded.
Oh, I know, and I think about it all the time, and sometimes I'll send friends messages and I'll say to them, I just wish I could feel his skin or smell him, yes, and I sleep with his T-shirts, but through all that through all that pain, there were so many good things that came out of it, and Make-A-Wish was one of them.
What was his wish?
His wish was to go to the ESPYs. He could not figure out for the life of him what sport he liked better, so he figured he would see all the greatest of greats
Nice.
at the Kodak Cinema, and we did that, and of course it was in, I don't even remember what month, because his whole treatment, just, it all seemed to ran together.
It was crazy. How did the Make-A-Wish Foundation, though, when they grant a wish, you're treated like rock stars, right?
Oh, incredible. Well, first Patty, who's all over the place here, she came up to Jeremy, and we've known her for years, and she was like, Jeremy, you get a wish. And he's like, I just want a wish to go into remission, and I wish never to walk back into Children's Hospital. And she goes, no, but you really get a wish. And she explained to him about Make-A-Wish, and he said to me, he said, am I dying? I was like, no. But I think we all are eventually. But no, you're good. You're good. And he's like, well, then why do they want to give me a wish? I said, because you've earned the right to it. You're going through long-term health treatments, and you get a wish.
Life-threatening medical conditions, and that's one of the things people think too, is that you must be dying. That's not the case.
It's not the case,
No.
and yes, in Jeremy's case, he's not here with us now, and he's looking over us, and he's probably so proud of everybody that gives, that calls up and gives to Make-A-Wish, and everybody that gives unselfishly, where there isn't a name attached to that phone call, and they gave Jeremy so much joy. It wasn't just Make-A-Wish. It was all the public speaking and the awareness that he was able to do, and people heard him, and that's really important, because when you're in a hospital and you're in a room, you're alone, and you don't always feel like you're heard, and you feel like the disease is taking control of you. And it's really important for all these kids to be listened to, and Make-A-Wish does a fabulous job. They don't just grant wishes over a short period of time, which they do, but they take their time to get to know exactly all the desires and the wishes of what these kids...
Well, that's what we were talking about, too, is that the wish isn't like, let's say it's a week-long trip to Disney or whatever. It's not just that week. No, we've had kids in here who were like, they were calling the Make-A-Wish Foundation saying, hey, in my man cave, I want this. What do you think about putting this? What about a pinball machine? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? It's a whole experience that is kind of indescribable, but that's what we're trying to do, so we can raise a ton of money for them. That's what it is.
It's fabulous.
The phone number is 855-231-WISH. That's 855-231-9474. We have 43 Wish Club members now. We need 57, and we have an hour to do it. Richard Kessler from Kessler's Diamonds gave us the Passion Flame pendant, and that means we have 57 more of those. So if you're calling, we still have them. 57
Absolutely.
more of them.
If you